Eric Adams and Brandy Maestro are now telling Joanne Ariola they have a plan to return all of those who left city employment or were terminated, like Marlon Bethel, without due process, to now 3 years later, 3.5 years later, right before the election, to return those people to city service. I don't believe that salary's on the table. I don't believe that time is on the table. So they're just going to say, oh yeah, Marlon, you could come back now, bro. Forget about all the harm we caused you the last 3 years. We're not going to pay you for any of that, and none of that time counts, and you can't buy any of that stuff back. But you could come back now and work for us. What are your thoughts on that, Marlon? You were terminated. I put a video out online about it. What's up, everybody? John McCarry, New York's finest retired Unfiltered Podcast. Just responding to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. He stated to Minority Leader of the City Council, Joanne Ariola, that he has assured her that he has a plan to bring back municipal workers who he terminated or forced out after illegally denying them either religious or medical exemptions, or just straight up firing them without any due process whatsoever. So this message is solely on behalf of myself. I'm not speaking for any organizations or anyone else that's affected. If this isn't a full compensate and reinstate, I'm not dropping my lawsuit whatsoever, and nothing's off the table. To say now, 3 years later, that we could reapply or you'll bring us back without reinstating our time or our rank and giving us back pay is an absolute slap in the face. New York City Mayor Eric Adams could have ended this on day one of his administration. He refused to do so. So the fact that the financial obligation falls now on New York City taxpayers is solely his fault. It's nobody else. If you want to talk about compensate and reinstate and then not funding the harm that you caused thousands of New York City employees, I think that's a fair conversation. If you're going to say after 3 years where you pulled another scam and try to coerce people into signing their rights away, because what he did was, after he exempted athletes and actresses and strippers and everybody else, what he did was he said, oh, you could reapply. But prior to you reapplying, you have to sign away your right to back pay, your right to civil rights in New York City. And you have to then apply, and we'll decide whether we're going to take you back, which was an absolute slap in the face again. So obviously not many people went for that. They've lost lawsuit after lawsuit. The Garvey case that he's still appealing, he could just drop it and reinstate and compensate. But, Randy Maestro now, in an effort to see that New York City Mayor Eric Adams gets reelected, is now going to try to move him as a centrist. This wasn't him. He's trying to make this right. There is no other way to make this right other than compensate and reinstate. Like I said, there are damages on top of there too. The litigation, you are going to lose. So I don't understand. The government had just reinstated and compensated all the members of the military. They've also followed the precedent that was set forth in the courts. You will lose. So everything else to try to clean up your image, other than I'm sorry, we messed up and we're going to pay for it, is just not an accurate conversation. I'm sticking by my guns with it. I think it's a slap in the face. I'm 100% not dropping my lawsuit, and I'll see you in court. Like, unless it's compensate and reinstate, and then I would consider dropping my lawsuit. If it's anything but that, I'm not dropping it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't trust the city, and we have plenty precedent to not trust what they're doing here, And if they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna pull you back, and we're not gonna talk about recompensating you for all that lost time and for lost wages, then that's a problem. Because when are we gonna talk about it? Like, if I go back, I'll be at 18 years right now. So that means I only have 2 years left. So when are we going to talk about it? I have this massive hole in my pension for years of not contributing to it. When are we going to talk about it? That means that if I go back now, I can't retire at 20. That means I got to stay until 25 at least to make up for all that, all the money I haven't contributed to my pension fund. I think it's a trap again. It's a trap, and I'm very suspicious of why it's happening now. And happening now as Adams is desperate any way he can to get support for reelection. Just the same, why the unions got what they did now. It's very curious why it's all happening now, because I think these politicians need the unions on their side, and they've made some that these changes are huge promises that I don't necessarily think they can in the long run afford to pay, you know, but they're making these promises now, and the question is why now? And the answer is more than likely we're in election season, so they're gonna promise you the moon to get you your support and get you to shut up, and that's why I'm suspicious of what Adams is doing, and you should be too.
Yeah, 100%. And this isn't a knock on Joanna Ariola or her chief of staff, Phyllis and Cirillo. Like they've done nothing but fight for people. They've been at the forefront of all of this. So I'm not knocking them at all. I feel like there is more nefarious play at hand with the Adams administration and the city. And they're doing it at a time when the Trump administration is compensating and reinstating all of the members of the military based on a federal lawsuit, right? And we have that city precedent with the Garvey case and sanitation, where everybody 3.5 years ago was told to return to work with back pay and you would go right back to your assignment and all that other stuff. And Eric Adams refused to until today. He's spending millions of dollars trying to litigate that case, where the mandate was deemed arbitrary and capricious, and it was deemed that it violated the civil rights of New York City workers. Whoa, shocker, right? Like, I don't think anybody's shocked by that. So, like, I'm not going to sign on to anything that, oh, yeah, no, this is so great. Like, no. You're going to come to the table. You're going to sit down with the people. You're not going to work with one politician. You're not going to work with just a minority. You're going to work with the people that were harmed, and we're all going to come to an agreement. Or it's full of crap, and you're just trying to save the city money at this point and screw us. And I'm sorry, buddy, but it ain't happening with me. I'm not speaking for anybody else, but like, nah, this should have been rectified 3.5 years ago. I should have been retiring now with about 21 years on or something like that. And I'll tell you, if I probably wouldn't have left, because I probably would have been a captain now, probably would have stayed to 25. But I'll tell you one thing I wouldn't have did. I wouldn't have left New York City. I definitely wouldn't have left New York City. I would have been hosing my concrete, all that, because I still love the city. Like, I'm here now. I love it, and I would probably have a house in Florida. Yeah, and I would travel back and forth. But you guys know my older daughter is legally blind. I mean, New York City is a better place for her to live, as far as like getting around, being able to work, the services that are available. So, I mean, that's why I'm always here. That's why I always come back. That's why I'm so focused. I stay on New York City, is because I still love it. I mean, like, I feel like I was forced out, and I feel like the fact that New York City is doing nothing for people like me to try to get us back into, whether it's city service, whether it's just coming back and opening a business, whether it's just coming back and living here in retirement. I'm too young to be retired, but why wouldn't you want, the podcast to come back to New York City, like, why wouldn't you want all these things? Like, I don't see that happening. And so, yeah, I mean, everything's a play on an election, right? Everything's a play on that. And I also think it's a play to, it's a play to kind of screw people that they owe money to and people they harmed. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have been back a year after when they dropped the mandate. It's just they try to screw you. They threw the wave in front of us. Oh, you can come back, but you're not getting any back pay. So that year that you haven't been contributing, that money that you took out your pension, oh, forget about it. That shortage in your pension is that's your problem now. That's not our problem. Even though we illegally got rid of you, and we were wrong, So there's plenty precedents for us not to trust the city, And by the way, not to trust the unions, because again, like I said, when just before the city got rid of me, my union, the DEA, said, "Oh, you know what? We're going to use you to help arbitrate more money. Okay. We're not going to fight the mandate, but we're going to use you to arbitrate it. Oh, and by the way, you have to agree to the terms of the arbitration, which may not include you could getting your job back. Oh, and you have to sign this waiver. Okay. So it's like there's plenty precedents for us not to trust them because they're always trying to screw us somehow. It's never straightforward, and I don't think what's happening now is going to be straightforward either. And again, we talked about this on Friday when I said that it seems to me that to cover past malfeasance, what we're going to see is a lot of present unethical behavior, because they've gotten themselves into a sinkhole and they need to worm their way out of it, and they don't want to be transparent in any of these processes. So,
Pat Donahue, before we get out of here, I think this is an important one. I have it on good authority that one union is eager to publicly announce an endorsement for Adams. Said union president may even host a fundraiser and invite his union members to attend and donate. Oh yeah, definitely nothing to see there, right? No conflict of interest there at all. Wonder who it could be. Maybe someone that had already had a fundraiser for Adams in the past. I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see. I think if the police unions move that way, that is, again, it's a slap in the face. We'll totally be in opposition to that, and I think the other thing, on Friday we got some good Cavs videos. I totally see electioneering in it. We'll play them at a later date. We're over 2 hours already. I don't want to go too much longer, but when you look at these videos, it's complete electioneering. It's during an election season, and all it's talking about is the Adams administration and what they're doing for public safety. And it's basically he's using Shell and Kaz for free campaign ads. That's what he's doing. It's basically what it is.
Yeah. I think if the unions move that way, that kind of lends support to our theory that what happened with the pension and the return of 20 and all of that is tied to election season. So something to think about.
Yeah.
You've just watched a clip from our live episode. Click the description to watch the full episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this.